Hi, Dave Roscoe here. It is Monday, December 1st, 2025, and I do apologize. I did not do any updates last week. Mind you, from the standpoint of the United States, it was a short week for two reasons. One is we had Thanksgiving holiday on Thursday, and typically the Friday following Thanksgiving is also a holiday. But still, I did not put out a video, and I do apologize for that. There were a lot of things conspiring to keep me away from the computer, not the least of which was, getting ready for the holiday. But we had a house full of sick people. The flu was going around, and even if you've had the flu shot, people are getting sick. Mind you, not as severely as those who did not get the flu shot, but still, they're getting sick. And when you have a house full of sick people, it tends to take up all of your attention. So again, I do apologize, but I'm back now. And the weird thing is that there's not really a lot to report. The big news right now is largely the upcoming unlocks for December. There's a lot of doom and gloom because December is a big month for unlocks, something like 180 million Pi tokens due to unlock this month, and people are panicking over that. And you know what? The markets are responding to that. We just a couple of days ago, the Pi coin was up to like 28 cents again, and now it's back down to 23 cents because people are panicking. And that's okay. I'm not worried about the price, but which is why I don't really report on it anymore. However, there's a new blog post by the Pi Core team. They've announced a new Pi Network Ventures partnership, which I want to talk to you about. But first, the metrics. The circulating supply is 8.34 billion Pi, and there were 4,976 user accounts migrated yesterday, totaling 1.6 million Pi. There is currently 20.9 million Pi in the Pi migration wallet, and migrations are happening now. Migrated unlock rewards are at 3.32 billion Pi, and I don't really have a number for how much Pi was unlocked since my last update, but I'll have a better number for you tomorrow. So looking at the latest Pi Core team blog post, it says here, Pi Network partners with CiDi Games to accelerate Web3 gaming innovations and expand Pi's real-world use. Pi has announced a strategic partnership with CiDi Games, a gaming platform building games integrated with Pi that tens of millions of pioneers can use, in addition to extending the Pi platform to support other games and developers. The partnership between Pi Network and CiDi Games is designed to expand the real-world utility of Pi and further expand and support gaming in the ecosystem. The collaboration expands Pi's real-world use cases, provides developers with a clear signal that Pi is committed to gaming at scale, and creates new opportunities for pioneers to use and engage with Pi daily. Pi's natural fit with and ongoing development of gaming serves as the foundation for the partnership and complements Pi's broader coordinated approach to ecosystem growth. And I completely agree with this. I've been saying from day one, the gaming industry and Pi Network is a match made in heaven. And it's going to take off, and it's going to explode, and it's going to be huge. And a lot of people scoff at this. And it's like, oh, Pi is a serious project. Why are we involved in gaming? And to these people, I have to wonder if they're living in the same planet that we all are. Gaming is a huge market. Okay. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars every year. Okay. And why is it okay that it's in US dollars or some other fiat currency, but when we start talking about it in terms of crypto, somehow being attached to gaming makes it a joke? It doesn't matter what it's attached to. Money is money. And if you want the Pi network to be considered, or the Pi coin to be considered as money, you have to start thinking about it the same way. Billions of dollars, regardless of the market, is still billions of dollars. And that's a great thing for the Pi network, whether that be movies, gaming, gambling, porn, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's just money, and money makes everything work. And if Pi network is the analog for money, we want this. So I don't know why you think it's a joke. It's no joke. Pi Network Ventures' investment in CiDi Games further strengthens the partnership. This investment aligns directly with Pi Network Ventures' mission while providing this opportunity to the CiDi Games team that has proven experience, capability in game development, and platform operations, and a vision of setting new benchmarks as the first Web3 gaming platform to achieve both scale and sustainability. By pairing Pi's global reach with CiDi Games' proven capabilities in building innovative games, the two organizations are setting the stage for a new era of Web3 gaming, one where Pi sits at the center of fun, accessible, and meaningful digital experiences. Now, this is where I'm a little skeptical. They talk about CiDi Games' proven capabilities, but as many of you did, and as well as I did, I Googled CiDi Games, and I really couldn't find anything about them. I mean, who are these people? What are they producing? How are they a proven entity for anything? If they're a startup, they're not proven. But I don't know. I couldn't really find a lot of information that was specific to CiDi Games. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Pi has partnered with CiDi Games because gaming fits perfectly in the Pi network ecosystem, and gaming is a vertical Pi has already been continuously cultivating in its ecosystem. Again, I agree. It's perfect fit for Pi. The partnership is part of Pi's broader, multifaceted strategic and ongoing approach to ecosystem expansion, including Pi Network Ventures investments that serve to both capture more production on the network and contribute to the creation of useful and engaging products. Games are social, interactive, have virtual economies, and universal in human experiences. We play games for entertainment. These elements mean gaming is one vertical that contains a large enough market and can thrive in Pi's global social network, a large, crypto-enabled, verified human community ready to engage and transact, and an ecosystem with the tools to support gaming apps, developers, and businesses at scale. For example, the partnership between Pi and CiDi Games enables a feedback loop where games can attract users and traction from Pi's tens of millions of pioneers, while the utility and use cases that developers create in turn strengthen Pi's ecosystem with engagement, production, and innovation. Pi has so far supported the gaming vertical through hackathons, app incubation programs, pre-built tools, and monetization via the Pi ad network. Pi also released Fruity Pi, a game integrated with Pi payments, Pi ad network, and the Pi wallet, showing how existing Pi features and platform-level utilities support apps tangibly, sustainably, and inclusively. The partnership between Pi and CiDi Games reinforces Pi's ongoing initiative toward building out a viable, self-sustaining gaming environment in the Pi ecosystem, and will take these efforts to the next level, scaling game integration, social interactions, and innovation across the network, creating new gaming and entertainment experiences in a Web3 environment. The partnership also demonstrates Pi Network Ventures' important role in Pi's broader ecosystem strategy. Strategic investments in companies like CiDi Games enable Pi Network to collaborate with experienced builders specialized in other industries, such as gaming in this case, who can contribute both individual app utilities and platform-level extensions that expands what developers and pioneers can create. This is one example of Pi's multifaceted approach in backing projects that expand real-world utility across the ecosystem, ranging from grassroots development through Pi App Studio to high-signal investments through Pi Network Ventures. From hackathons to incubations, and from technical support such as the Pi SDK to ready-to-go business models like Pi Ad Network, Pi is focused on not just single products or features, but also the compounding benefits that emerge when different parts of the ecosystem, like pioneer engagement, platform growth, and developer incentives, advance together. Now, I don't want to read any more of this. The important parts here are that this is a big announcement, okay? Just like the first announcement of Pi Network Ventures investing in OpenMind, this investment in CiDi Games is also big. I don't know if CiDi Games is ultimately going to advance the Pi Network's gaming vertical, but exploring the gaming vertical and advancing it and developing it is clearly in the Pi Network and thus our best interest. I don't know why people think this is a joke. Gaming is not a joke. Gaming is a big, big business. If it weren't, there wouldn't be so many companies doing it. And we're talking, a lot of these big companies are doing gaming budgets, in the tens of millions of dollars, if not 100 million. I've heard of some games going over $100 million in production alone. Okay. And then you factor in sales. Now, most of the profit in games is not in buying the game because it almost makes no sense. The cost is prohibitive. They'll offer subscriptions for certain tier levels. But the biggest moneymaker is in-app purchases. So you offer the game for free, and to get special items or special achievements or extra chances to achieve something, when that all costs money, even if it's a small amount, just a fraction of a dollar, when you have millions upon millions of people doing it every day, the money rolls in. So the fact that Pi Network is investing in a games platform is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. In fact, it is brilliant, and I applaud the Pi Network for making this investment. Now, like I said, I don't know anything about CiDi Games, so that makes me a little bit nervous, but I'm hoping to learn a lot more about them in the near future. But this is the second announced Pi Network Ventures investment. And I know a lot of people were a little bit upset because they thought the Pi Network Ventures was going to be a different type of thing. And I was trying to explain to people that I always felt it was more of a strategic investment, which means that they were looking at more larger scale, like they say, high signal investments, and not the individual type of investments like individual app developers. Not to say that they don't deserve some sort of support, but that's not what the Pi Network Ventures is meant for, right? It's literally an incubator program, and incubators tend to think a little bit bigger. So, like I said, there's not much going on. I am encouraged that the Pi price is actually doing better than the rest of the crypto market. I don't quite know why, and I would like to think it's due to the news surrounding some of these developments, and that investors are starting to see that the Pi network is different than other cryptocurrencies, and I really hope that's the case. But on the other side of things, as the Pi coin is getting into higher prices than they have been in the last couple of months, I'm sure there's more people tempted to sell, and they probably are selling, and that's causing some instability. But the rest of the crypto market's in a little bit of a mess right now. So I would expect the Pi network to follow along with that to some degree, because most of the investment in Pi network is the same as every other crypto. It's speculative. It's not based on any utility, and that's changing. That is starting to change, and it's good to see. And maybe this is where this all begins. But if anything breaks, I'll be sure to hop on here and let you know. But until then, don't panic. Stay the course, and remember, the success of the Pi network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.